I am here on one of the many beaches of the D-Day invasion in Normandy, France. This one being Omaha Beach, and in the background, another famous point, the Pointe de Hoc, and around me several World War II memorials commemorating the event. Now all here on the 75th anniversary of the invasion. The D-Day invasion, also known as Operation Neptune, was a major turning point in the Second World War, as it began the Allied pushover into Nazi-occupied territory and began a Western front of the war. And after this point, the Nazis would only begin to lose much of their ground within Europe. For years going into World War II, there were many generals, including General Marshall of the American forces, who wanted to create a Western front in the war. However, General George Patton, President FDR, and many others did not want to initially create a Western front and rather wanted to engage in multiple offensives, such as the North African Offensive, the Offensive of Sicily, and others, to possibly stall an invasion from the actual part of Western Europe and instead try to do miniature little maneuvers into Nazi territory. However, by 1944, it was clear that this was not possible and that a major invasion needed to take place on behalf of the Allies in the western part of Europe. Therefore, in June of 1944, future President and back then Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, Dwight Eisenhower, strategized something known as Operation Neptune, in which a coalition of Allied soldiers would penetrate northern France at the Normandy Peninsula and try and push into Nazi territory in France. And ultimately, he was successful, as on June 6th, the Allied forces came in through Omaha Beach, Utah Beach, Juno Beach, and many other of the points here, and were able to successfully push the Nazis out of their own territory, many of whom were strongly weakened by the Eastern Front on the other side of the war, as the Soviets were really bearing the brunt of the casualties and pushing the Germans on the other side. This is why mainly the Western Front was so vulnerable to Allied invasion. After the Normandy invasion, Omar Bradley, George Patton, and other generals successfully pushed into the German heartland, and ultimately victory was just another year away.